from the Ramblecast. I have to be honest with you guys. It's the one podcast I have to tune into every week. I just love your guys' podcast. I can't say enough good things about it. But wait, before I go on, subscribe to this video, subscribe to our channel, give a thumbs up, share it, tell a friend. But let's get back to the three members, only three of the members from the Ramblecast. It's the RCAD, am I correct?
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
It's been around for a few years.
Yeah. So what's going on, guys?
So who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who. We just met for the first time, right?
You met a couple episodes ago. This is Chris in Boston, but I've already introduced myself on your show, so I'll step aside and let these gentlemen talk.
So Matt and Nick, obviously Lost fans. Either one can go first. But what got you into Lost? What made you a Lostaholic?
Let's see. I watched the premiere, actually, I think with my family. I was just like, wow, that was great. But then I missed a couple episodes, and it was one of those, like, in the first season where I felt like I needed to watch every episode. So I definitely went back to the DVDs when the DVDs came out and was just devoured them. So saw the premiere, devoured the DVDs, and I was all in. Couldn't miss an episode after that. So
and Nick?
Sure, yeah. Actually, my memory of it is hearing the whole, like, oh, it's a bunch of people on an island, and kind of thinking, oh, is it like Survivor? Because I didn't know what it was, and so I did not watch it when it first aired. And then my sister either called me or texted me and said, you need to watch this show called Lost. And this is in the spring of 2005, so I'd already missed half of the first season. And the first episode I watched was The Numbers, Hurley's first centric episode. And I remember going, oh, this is pretty interesting. But I'd already missed the first half of the show, so I was like, you know what? I'll just wait. So my sister said, I'm going to go buy season 1 when it comes out on DVD. I'll let you borrow it. I said, okay, cool. So I watched season 1 maybe 2 weeks before season 2 came out, and then after that I was hooked.
It's amazing because that's how, myself and Jay did it. We watched the season 1 DVDs and got hooked on it. I don't remember anybody even talking about it. I mean, maybe I zoned out because I don't listen to people. But I never heard, I heard of the show because I wanted to watch it. But I messed a few people. Said no. The people I did talk to said, no, you have to watch it from the beginning. I said, okay. And from there, I was sold on it. It was just amazing show. But before I go on, where can people find your podcast? Where is it? I forgot to give that information out.
It's on the Jay and Jet Network, or you can just subscribe on iTunes by looking up the Ramblecast After Dark.
The Jay and Jet Network? Is
Jay
that
and Jack?
Oh, okay.
Jay and Jack.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Benny and the Jets. Yeah, iTunes. You can find us on iTunes. And RCAD properly stands for Ramblecast After Dark. It is an explicit show. So we talk about all different sorts of things, but we definitely drop some words.
Yeah, I know there's several podcasts on the Jay and Jack Podcasting Network, but by far, the RCAD is my favorite one.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Without, I'm not saying because you guys are guests on the show today. I listen to it every week religiously.
We appreciate that, Jack.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that. Maybe you can leave us a review.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'll go on there and give you.
You should give us a review. We give out, one of us on the show is an artist, and we try to give out some drawings if people give us a nice review.
Really? Is he a good artist? Because
he's okay.
I've heard him talk about it on the show, but is it like little stick figures? Things?
Pretty much, yeah. So one of us actually records the intro. That person plays an instrument with his feet.
Oh, I know that's great.
Very cumbersome sounding. If you like the sound of a cat being strangled, he's really good at it. And every now and then ekes out some kind of an semblance of words, but well worth skipping through that part.
Yeah, I do like the intro. And
then one of us happens to garner a lot of support by going to different companies and saying, please give me some free stuff and reviews lots of products.
Yeah,
nice.
It works.
Well,
we should get some free pretzels sometime.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a good call. Maybe I should do that. I'll reach out.
All right. But anyway, great podcast. If you haven't listened to it, finish this episode and then go check out it's. I'm gonna give you guys what, like a 4-star review? That good enough for?
No,
well, our producer would prefer 5.
Yeah.
5. Okay, all right.
He's a bit of a whip cracker.
Okay, a whip cracker.
Relentless. He loves Twitter. Like what?
All right, we're here to talk about Lost, and our first episode is Homecoming. What did you guys think of Homecoming?
So it'd been a while since I'd watched this episode. Like a lot of people who, when they kind of start a rewatch, you tend to watch the pilot and maybe like the first disc, and then you kind of go like, okay, like something else happens, you get behind it. So this is what, the 4th disc, I think, of the Lost season 1. And, you know, a lot of things started coming back. Like I'd forgotten like how sometimes you get these rocky shots, you know, which I was like, oh, that's so Lost, you know, to see like them running and the camera shaking and all this. Homecoming was not my favorite episode. I liked some of the things it did. And then it reminded me of some of the frustrations I'd have. Like, why is Ethan so freaking strong? Like he's got like, is he taking steroids in his spare time? Like, why is he like this? He's just kicking Jack's butt. Like, what's going on? And you know, and of course,
but there's also the scene with Boone though, and like, I mean, I think I could lift Boone with my right hand. Like, Boone was a scrawny red shirt that did he was like $1.15 soaking wet.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean,
Boone or Charlie?
Both, really.
Both. Well, didn't he hold up both?
No, he never attacked. He never attacked Boone.
Boone was off doing his own thing.
Boone's like with Locke most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie too.
Charlie's a bloody rock god. Well, I do like the opening scene is because Claire comes back.
Yeah.
And Locke when he goes into the caves, he yells, "Doctor, doctor!" He doesn't yell for Jack. He yells, "Doctor." What's up with that?
Huh. That's an interesting pickup there. Yeah.
He called him Jack several times. Why now is he call him Doctor, Doctor?
The way it was written in the script.
I mean, that might be one of those things that the immediate, like, I need a doctor.
Right.
So over
I heard he was a big Harry Nielsen fan, and he just wanted a reason.
Okay, again, if he yells Jack, do you think Jack's not going to come running?
Well, I mean, he might have. Well, you think if you yell Doctor, you might get a different response from Jack. If he's just yelling Jack, he could be like, "What do you want?" You know, because everyone needs Jack. That's why Jack was like in the 3rd or 4th episode. Everybody kept coming to Jack, and he revolted against it. So it's like, you know.
So I'm just overthinking this.
Well, also too, you know, you run in and you yell Jack, Jack, and then all of a sudden you get Kate and some other people like, "What do you need? Can I help?" No, Doctor cuts right through it. It's like, give me a pepper.
Kate would have said, "I am helping. Yeah, I am helping. I don't know anything about medical, but I'm helping. I'm going, Jack." Because she tends to do that. But you know, don't you think if Locke came in yelling Jack, Jack, you don't think Kate would come over anyway?
Kate would always come over. Everything's her business.
What was Kate there? I think wasn't she on the beach?
Okay, Saeed might even come over and just be like, "Oh, what is it that I can help with?"
I can take her fingernails off. Maybe something like that.
I thought you said Iraq.
So Claire doesn't remember anything. She has no memory of anything. But Charlie gives her Claire her journal.
Yeah,
the one he read. Didn't he read it?
He did read it.
Yeah. He did read it. You guys cool with that?
I'm just trying to keep this not RCAD.
I know exactly.
You can go there, but it just has to be PC.
Okay,
not PC.
PG.
PG. I'm
okay. That was a visual aid.
This is a video podcast, so
okay. Sorry. Yeah, less audio, more video. Everyone's fan favorite, I heard. Then we go to the flashback, and Charlie's trying to. He's hanging out with another guy because the band's done. He's on drugs. He's strung out, and he plays "You All Everybody."
Right.
You all everybody.
Which doesn't actually come up. You know, you think he would work that into his wooing of these women. You know, like, oh, this is my song, but he doesn't.
But maybe he didn't.
He didn't
we
need
just
it,
see
though.
it.
He was
He has game.
Yeah, and I thought she was pretty attractive. I know later on in this episode, like, you know, his friend kind of throws her under the bus.
Calls her a moose. Like, what was that
Yeah.
about?
Come on, like, have some respect for women. I mean, it just seemed a little over the line. Okay, like oh no,
Lost Jack.
we lost our captain.
You just
Keep going. Oh, there he
offended
is.
the host
Okay.
of the
Okay.
show.
Thought we lost our doctor.
Doctor, give me the news. I was gonna say if I leave you, just I'll just edit that out.
Don't ever
You'll,
leave
you'll
us.
never leave us, Jack. So you know, with this episode, this is like the first episode for me. I remember I felt bad. I felt really bad because I think everyone loves Charlie, right? And
Right.
I mean, he was kind of like a very cool character, but this is the first time that you get into a point. Grant, was this before or after his flashback with the music video and stuff? I can't recall.
I think it's before.
It's before because the music videos. I think season 2.
So is this his first flashback?
No, it's a second.
What was the first flashback we had of Charlie?
Because he was with his brother, the forming of the band.
Yeah, and just
Forming
how
it.
How he
he
gets hooked on
drugs.
heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a fall from grace for Charlie because people start to really like this character. He's funny, he's goofy, and then you go back in time and see he was at this point in his life a complete scumbag.
Right.
And I think that where you see the progression there, and you're he's reformed himself, and he's not going to steal that cigarette case from Winston Churchill or whomever it was from. But then he falls back in on the junkie that he was, and he had to actually he took it, which you really kind of like didn't see that coming. Maybe you saw it coming, but you didn't want to see that coming. So there was kind of like the downfall of his character temporarily, at least.
If you had Winston Churchill's cigarette case, would it just be out in the open like that, or would you have it like under glass or something?
Yeah, under glass or some kind of case. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It's going to get tarnished out.
Yeah.
In the air. But
some junkie's going to steal it.
I don't know, like Chris, like because like you already seen Charlie, with Locke pushing him to stop being on the drugs earlier in the season. So you're kind of seeing his downfall for sure. But like I don't want to skip forward to the very end of the episode, but it's true. Like at the end of the episode, you really feel for Charlie. At least I do. You almost get emotional about it because if anyone's ever really wronged somebody, which I think we all have at some point,
Sure.
It's a humble moment there where he's just like,
on the doorstep,
and I think on the doorstep, yeah, because like I know like she was mad and rightfully so, but you almost kind of want to hug Charlie in that moment. It's just like, dude, I get it. You needed your fix. You really down your luck. You need help. And I would have probably, if I'd have been her, like, yeah, we're no longer going to be a couple. You're no longer going to work for my dad, but I will find you help.
Right.
Well, I think at this point she felt used.
True. Well, she was.
Well, and they weren't together that long.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but going back to Charlie, you see his first flashback. He's always tried to do the right thing.
Right.
mm-hmm.
It was Liam that was, he wanted the stardom, wanted all this stuff, and they they agreed and said, well, if it gets to the point where we get out of control, we stop. Family first. And Liam says no, and then that's when Charlie gets hooked on heroin. So yeah, you do kind of in this episode. His flashback, anyway, you're like, I don't like Charlie in this flashback.
Yeah.
It just.
But I mean, that's really kind of the great thing about his character, though. Throughout Lost, is that push and pull dynamic. We always want him to do the good thing. Sometimes he doesn't do the good thing, and it's like, I don't know. It's really weird. Like unlike Jack, who's just always like, I am the knight in shining armor, that's coming to save the day or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's just like almost too good. Charlie has a little bit of that. I mean, we like that bad boy aspect of him and the fact that he's broken,
Right.
So
right.
I don't know.
He's human.
Yeah, for sure. I thought this episode, yeah, definitely for me, it was one of those like meh episodes because I remember this portion of season 1. I didn't really like the whole thing where Claire was taken. And I didn't even like when she came back. I didn't like the whole. So
you hate Claire?
No, I just didn't. I wasn't really wild about the whole Ethan.
Why do you hate my character?
All right, so
I actually like her. But I just didn't like this part of the story of season 1. Like when we get to this point, go ahead.
There was some lazy writing in this episode. I mean,
absolutely.
I'll say that. Like number one, let's talk about the girlfriend. What was her name? Or I can't even remember
Lucy.
her name. Lucy.
Yes, Lucy. Yeah.
Her thing is, well, I know
Lucy.
I had this. I know you had you're sick. I know this. That, and the other. My only question. Well, why did you take the job? Well, why do you think he took the job?
Yeah.
Like he was trying to recover and then he slipped. But at the same time, it's like, what do you mean? Why? You know exactly why he did it because he liked her. Like, and there was no question that. A couple of things too.
But I'm going to disagree with you there. If he doesn't take the cigarette, Winston Churchill's cigarette case, maybe he can get away with. But he took that, so she's thinking the only reason you came in here is steal my dad's stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you used me.
But there's a couple other bits too. Like, so all right. So going back to the whole Ethan attacking Charlie scenario. So there's a scene. They set up their perimeter and they have all of the booby traps set up. Right. A booby trap gets set off in the middle of the woods that wakes Boone up, and he runs after it. Meanwhile, Scott or Steve, I can't remember which one it was, is murdered on the beach. And they've come to the conclusion that whomever did it came from the ocean.
Right.
Right. So who the fuck set up? Who set off the trap?
Oh.
I think it was Vincent.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because Vincent was in the area.
Oh, yeah.
Stop demanding answers, Chris. They never get answers.
I know. I know. There's a few.
And Ethan, they killed Scott, not Steve, because
dude,
Sawyer,
he had a name.
Sawyer said Steve, and it was Scott.
Yeah.
And
then
guy.
my other beef with the writing is that the island, they've got 4 guns. He keeps them locked up. Why? Like, why would you lock up the guns when you're being attacked? There's this whole like drama behind it. They don't want anybody to have them. Then Jack pulls out the key and is like, "Oh, I've got something that we can make to level the playing field." It's like, yeah, I think the first line of defense is to make sure that you have a line of defense. And like, why wouldn't they have those guns in the hands of people that can help defend them?
Well, they've only known each other for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they know one of them's a criminal.
Right. Mm-hmm. And can Sawyer be trusted?
No.
So Locke does his own thing. He's always got some issues with Jack. So who can Jack other than Saeed and Hurley?
What are they going to do?
I mean, they definitely. I mean, you forget this is 2004. They definitely play a lot into that show because look at how diverse the cast is. After 9/11, not too much farther away removed from that. If you were in that plane crash and you knew there were 4 guns, would you trust anybody there with a gun? You wouldn't want that. And I think Jack was wise to lock them away that way because only nothing good can come of it.
I really do think it's kind of funny, and we're not getting political, but knowing both of your political backgrounds, it's kind of funny how like both of you are like, the gun should be free, and like Nick's over here like, lock up the guns.
It is kind of a twist, but that's lost. That's what.
But the thing is, though, these guys are all in it together. They live together. They die alone. Like, there's nobody in the group is against each other.
There yet.
Yeah, but they still in the 3rd or 4th season, they're still not telling each other things. Everything's a secret.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They don't trust each other.
I think the island brings it out in them. It's like
could be. I'm gonna go with Nick on this. I think that Jack was doing the right thing because then you're gonna you give out 3 guns. You keep one for yourself. Who doesn't get a gun is gonna be ticked off.
Right. Well, it's the same as like I'm not sure if we've gotten there yet or not, but it's the same as with Hurley's handouts. Yeah, that's in season 2. Yeah, like he didn't want to be the guy in charge of the food. Because then people get bitter at you. It's the same thing. Like Jack kept the guns a secret, and the only people who needed to know knew about them.
Said if we really need the guns, we'll bring the guns, right?
Right. And there's only a limited amount of ammo anyway, so you don't want just somebody just wasting it.
Someone doesn't know how to shoot a gun, takes 99 shots at practice. And go, whoops, there's only one bullet left.
Yeah. All of a sudden, people are out shooting at boars.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I did like that when Charlie was walking back to the caves, he sees Jin. He goes, "Hey, can I walk with you?" Because he's afraid, obviously, but it doesn't help him because all of a sudden Jin hears it. But Charlie didn't seem to hear what was going on, right?
Yeah, exactly. How do you not hear that? Just a sling going around. Okay, get down! Like I'm screaming, like get down! That's what's coming.
Well, not only does Ethan have superhuman strength, he can whip a rock at you at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
knock you out.
Yeah, I mean, he must have good aim too because he hit Jin in the chest. Because if it hit him in the head, it killed him. But,
I mean, could you do that?
No.
I mean, we never found out if the others actually had some superfood, that they were taking, or some brain stimulants, or.
Well, they didn't seem to have it after they met him, so maybe they
right. Well, they lost.
ran out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe.
Dharma Initiative superfoods.
Well, it was one of those, because not to get too far ahead in the show, but when you actually do find out what happened to Claire, what was going on. They could have easily had shown that Ethan's over there shooting up, or he's just lifting weights in his spare time while Claire's waiting in the baby room. Come on.
They did it in Rocky IV. Drago.
Yeah, exactly. You could have even had the same music playing around, just the quick pacing of just him,
He's on a running.
With Rocky carrying logs, he could be the first log carrying guy, right?
Whatever he hits, he destroys. Yeah, exactly.
I do like how Charlie lies to Claire. Oh yeah. Nothing's going on, because Ethan comes to after he knocks out, he picks up Charlie and holds him, basically choking him.
Mm-hmm.
And says, "If you don't, I will kill someone once every day. I will kill you last, Charlie. Bring me Claire." So he doesn't tell Claire what's going on. Good idea, bad idea.
I think Charlie did the right thing in that at least he told Locke and Saeed and Jack, and at least alerted some people. But I don't blame Charlie for not telling Claire because you don't want her being panicky when she's 9 months pregnant. But who knows? I probably would have done the same.
Would you give a pregnant girl, use her as bait?
I mean, I think she did the right thing there and that it was her decision, I wouldn't have wanted to because you never know what would happen. But She was her choice, so, it's fine.
And Kate agrees with Chris here. Kate tells Jack to use the guns.
Right.
Use the guns, Jack.
Kate always knows. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, at this point, though, we don't know anything about the others. Ethan's the only one at this point.
That we know of, yes.
That we know of at this point. He's the only one. And they're trapped on this island. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a threat of what's going on here? So, yeah, break out the guns.
Mm-hmm.
And, Boone and other standing guard, you got to love Boone. You got to love him.
No, you don't.
Not a good guard.
Well, he tries, but it's why would you have Boone standing guard?
Yeah,
and he falls asleep.
Yeah, it's the same as when he in the pilot, you had to make sure he had the right kind of pin, so he just
it's got to be hollow.
Yeah.
I think Boone suffers from good looking face. It's I trust him. He's good looking, so we'll just put him in charge of this.
Yeah, he's good looking and rich.
Yeah,
can pretty much do whatever he wants.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, at least they didn't put Scott in charge.
No,
so,
Scott got killed.
Yeah.
Well, then
Steve, yeah.
But Steve was in on it with the others.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Log carrying guy number 2.
Yeah. Well, Ethan kills one of them, and it turns out to be Scott, not Steve. So he's dead. He got his neck snapped.
Yeah.
It was a mess. It wasn't
the fingers in his hand were broken.
Yeah, he was basically tortured. What I like is the fact someone said, well, maybe he just drowned swimming. And that's when they told us that his neck was snapped, his hands, all the bones in his hands were broken.
Giant squid.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy death. I'm not laughing, but
I feel like they should have CSI'd this and found like letters underneath his fingernails, like Twin Peaks or something. You know,
I think you're right. You're onto something there.
maybe his name so they could identify him.
Right. there were clues that because I mean, come on, Ethan's definitely a serial killer type
For sure.
Yeah, he's definitely psycho. He's got scratches on his. He's nuts. And then everyone's staring at Claire. She knows something's going on. You know, she's all the log carrying people are staring at her. And then she goes to Shannon, and Shannon goes, "I'm not staring at you. I'm not staring at you." So she goes to Charlie, and Charlie finally tells her the truth?
No,
Shannon tells her the truth.
Shannon rats Charlie out.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah.
This is here we go. So I've got it written down here. She approaches Shannon. Why does everyone keep staring at me? And she says, "No one has told you yet." And then it cuts away. And then Claire approaches Charlie and says, "What else did you not tell me? Why would you keep me in the dark?" And then he goes, "Because I wanted to protect you." And she says, "I can take care of myself." So
it was a nice what's it, light and dark comparison there too, right? So going back to Charlie's flashbacks where he was told by that he would never be able to care for anybody. You know? And then it's kind of like the opposite here in the episode where he was trying to protect her from all that what was going on. The fact he dropped 4 shots into Ethan's chest was his kind of way showing his ability to care for and protect somebody.
Well, spoiler alert, we're not there yet.
Oh, my.
I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. I want to say we go back to the flashback. Charlie needs a fix before he's going off to sell copiers, but he doesn't get that fix. The guy holds out on him. Mm-hmm. He goes, unless you steal that cigarette case, you're not getting nothing. Jack asks Locke to track Ethan.
Wait, the copier scene is probably one of my favorite scenes.
Well, we're not
pretty good.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
But Jack goes to Locke and say, "Hey, can you track Ethan?" And he goes, "No, I could, but I don't want to help you out." And that's when he shows Locke the guns.
Right.
And he goes, "Well, 4 would be better than 3." And so Jack reluctantly goes, "Okay, I'll give it to Sawyer."
No,
he didn't want to give Sawyer the gun. No, he gives it to Sawyer.
He didn't want to give Charlie the gun because he didn't trust Charlie because Charlie didn't have any experience, and then, I mean, like to use the reboot of Star Trek, Charlie was emotionally compromised. You couldn't trust somebody.
Well,
with
I know
that.
he didn't want to give Charlie, but he also didn't want to give Sawyer the gun because he was going to Saeed, Locke himself. And then Locke says, "You got a 4." He goes, well,
oh, right.
Yeah, I guess I'll give it to Sawyer. And then Sawyer has Marshall's gun. So they give it to Kate because Kate is going.
That's right.
Kate is going. "I'm going, Jack. I'm not staying behind. I'm going."
Nobody puts Kate in the corner.
No.
It's crazy, like, to think about like how young a lot of them, because Evangeline Lilly's only 24 in season 1, and you're just like, wow, she's just a kid.
I was only 24.
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
I was 24 during season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Okay, you didn't age
yeah.
either.
Yeah. I think she's just a little bit. She's born in 80 or maybe late 79. So roughly the same age as you and me, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt, you just had a birthday, so that would make you laugh.
I can't even do the math now. I told there was no math on this podcast.
Claire agrees to be used as bait. Then we go to the copier scene. Go back to the flashback. The copier scene.
Oh, yeah, the copier scene. He's totally losing it.
Wait. You can tell. I mean, he's sweating so bad. He needs these fixes. And he's just like, God, he looks like hell. I mean, whoever did the makeup for that scene was just dead on.
I kept thinking, yeah.
At that point, are we feeling, because we know he stole the cigarette case, are we feeling sorry for Charlie at this point? Anybody?
No. Well,
no.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Charlie, like always. So I understand the need to get that fix. That came out wrong.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I'm comparing it to nicotine.
Right.
And when I smoked cigarettes was just one of those drugs where it's constantly nagging at you, like when you're trying to quit, and it's just like constantly back there, like, yeah, just you can just have a cigarette. You'll be fine. You'll be okay.
It's just one.
And you can justify a lot of things. So I guess that's where, I empathize with him at that moment. But I also think it's funny that he's just losing it.
And we have Jack. We talked about
Did you guys catch the model number of the copier he was selling?
No.
It was a
Nice little Easter egg.
C815.
Oh, nice catch.
I
had my lost tinfoil hat on when I was watching these episodes, trying to see if I can pick up any things that if I knew then if I knew now what I knew then type of situations. Good job.
Yeah.
Proud of you. That's nice work.
Thank you.
Because I know when I listen to the podcast, you're really not that helpful.
No.
So just saying, I'm just going to be honest out here. Just to be honest. You're kind of just there, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
I got a product. Okay, let's give Chris his 3 minutes. Okay. I'm just saying that's how it feels to the listener.
So the truth comes out.
Jesus.
So I guess we won't see you next week.
I gotta go.
I hear that baby is crying right now.
Well, I'm just joking. You guys always have a good time joking on the show, picking on each other. I just thought I'd just chime in because I thought it'd be funny. Then it comes to the scene where it's pouring down rain.
Yep.
Claire goes to the spot. They're waiting for Jack, and it seems like they're all pretty close together, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's what was really nuts about. Remember, this is a live video podcast there, Matt. Yeah, because exactly, you think Ethan would have half a brain because they're so close to her. It's like, how do you not see them? I mean, it's not like they're wearing camouflage or anything. They're just standing yeah.
Well, this is my point. Jack tackles Ethan.
Yeah.
He tackles him, and he's fighting him for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody comes over.
Jack had it. Jack got it done.
I get it, but the last time Jack fought Ethan, he got his butt kicked.
He still was getting his butt kicked.
He was still getting his butt kicked.
And then the unnecessary dialogue of John Locke coming in with everybody else saying, "Oh, Jack's got him."
Yeah, exactly.
No kidding, dude. Jack's got him. Jack's in a headlock.
But you think that at one point, Jack was at Saeed, help!
Yeah,
something like that. But I guess of course, Jack likes to do things on his own. He's that kind of guy. But I just thought it was weird that nobody came over.
Look, you forget Locke's a man of faith. Jack's got him. Yeah.
Okay. What about Saeed and Sawyer?
No.
Sawyer's too busy reading his letter.
Exactly. They've gone through some rough times.
In hindsight, these are two doctors fighting it out over one patient.
That's true.
Over one patient. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Claire has
no harm.
Claire has good health care, so they know that she'll pay her bills.
Oh, yeah. It's that Australian healthcare.
Yeah, exactly.
Feel good.
Then they have the gun to Ethan. They say, don't think about it. Don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then Charlie fills him full of lead.
He does.
Well, the gunshot comes out, but we don't know who. It has to hold on to it for about 15 seconds until Jeff Probst comes out. And
the tribe has spoken.
Well, don't you think that someone would have turned around and shot Charlie?
I think they were just all stunned.
Yeah.
They're not quick draws. But you're right, Jack. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I know I said this when it first came out. Charlie, everyone in Lost I personally have never fired a gun. Not that I'm against it. I've never done it. I don't think I could put 4 shots into a guy's chest like that. Bang, bang, bang. Even
low visibility in the middle of the rain. Not a chance.
Unless it's the island guiding the bullets into Ethan's chest.
Yeah. Not a waiver at all. I can't even that the water would.
He wasn't that far away.
I don't care. It's just still I'm glad I've never had to shoot anybody, but can you imagine shooting someone for the first time? How hard that would be?
To be fair, Charlie doesn't know how to swim, and yet he discovers the underwater hatch too. So
well, he says he says I don't swim.
I don't swim.
Oh, I don't. Oh, excuse me.
I don't swim. He doesn't say I can't. He says I don't swim.
The rest of the sentences is I don't swim unless I have my jeans on.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, because that's when I said it a couple weeks ago. Because Sawyer starts swimming in the jeans when he finds when him and Kate find the case.
Who swims in jeans? It's just the most ridiculous thing.
Oh yeah.
That became a thing on the island.
Yeah, that cotton would feel great.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing better than wet jeans. Then we have Charlie going. Was it Jack asked him? He goes, Charlie was. I was not going to let that animal anywhere near Claire again. So yes, I think Chris mentioned earlier he was going to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to protect her, and to be honest, he did. Right.
And then miraculously, because of all this happens, Claire starts to remember things, and one of the things she remembers is actually a really nice, touching moment between she and Charlie. She remembers peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's like all of that gun firing. It's like, oh yeah, peanut butter.
It's the smell.
Yep.
And then we have
peanut butter.
Then we have the Lucy scene.
Imaginary.
Lucy calls Charlie a liar, and Lucy tells Charlie, because he said, I just want to protect you. I want you to. And Lucy says, you'll never protect anyone.
Yeah, that's probably about the most heart-wrenching kind of moment right there.
Yeah, because Charlie's really is, like Jack said, he's a good guy. And he means
he is. But going back, I know it's hard to forget everything else we learn about Charlie, but at that point, do we like Charlie? Do we not like Charlie? We still got mixed feelings about Charlie.
I go back to I like the complicated character Charlie. Like I'm still rooting for him through it. I mean, even with the whole hair. I mean, and I think Nick, you brought it up. We've all done things maybe with a girlfriend or something where the relationship went bad, and you're like, I wish I would have taken back that one thing that I said because things went south, and I stole that Winston Churchill cigarette case from my girlfriend, We've all
I think we've all done that.
Yeah. We've all sold stuff from ex-girlfriends for drugs too.
Gotta have beer money. Yeah.
They got born rich.
Yeah. Gas money. I drove all the way out here. We talking
You
about
know how expensive cigarettes are nowadays, guys?
for real.
Any other thoughts on Homecoming?
Not really. I think we kind of hit it on the head. It's kind of a meh episode. I mean, there's a lot of filler in it. It's not a bad. There's definitely some things you need to know, going further into the season from watching it. But it's not an episode that I'm like, oh, you got to watch it. It's just kind of okay. Basically, you can summarize it in one sentence. Claire shows back up. They kill Ethan. All right.
Wouldn't crack my top 50.
Yeah.
So I liked Spider-Man Homecoming better than
true.
this Homecoming.
Agreed. I was just looking this up a second ago. This is Damon Lindelof's least favorite episode.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. He says that many people give the tattoo a lot of crap.
Stranger to
but
Strange Line.
Right.
He says this is the episode that had he wrote it, and it was one of the most poorly written episodes of the entire series.
I am glad that you brought this up because I was actually thinking about the tattoo episode in comparison to this episode after I watched it. I was like, the tattoo episode actually has other things that happen that are actually kind of important in the larger.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what Ralph said. Jack, maybe you do. Ralph, during the Comic-Con Jay and Jack meetup, actually brought up the importance of that episode. Jack, do you remember what he said? Whatever Ralph said was brilliant though about that episode. It's just like
when Ralph was talking, I wasn't listening.
Oh, okay. Well, it basically that episode sets up something else. It throws you off to set up another episode later on. It's like without that episode, you're not going to believe this one particular point.
Well, I think
it's critical. I remember him saying that. He's like, "Wow, you're right." It's just.
Well, I think when people with the tattoos there's so many theories out there on what the tattoos meant. And it turns out they didn't mean really anything. So I think that's people get all bent out of shape. I just didn't like was it Mei Ling? What's the girl's?
Mei Ling.
I thought her acting was terrible. I was like,
yeah, she's never been a great actress. Too.
And I said, and bad acting when you have great actors around you. I mean, if you're on a show where the acting isn't important, that's different. But when the acting is important, you have to have. It's like Godfather 3, Sofia Coppola. She can't act, and she was terrible in it, and she ruined the movie. There
it is. And that's the episode.
Yeah. Next one we have Outlaws, and I think it starts out with a bang, obviously. But it's a dark, and when you realize it's Sawyer, and you start you almost start feeling at this. I'll say it. I start feeling sorry for Sawyer.
Yeah, because like up until this point, you've kind of hated Sawyer.
Mhm.
Right.
He's been a jerk. He's been selfish. He's exactly. He had to be. He did that. He was tortured just to get a kiss from Kate. Like he just wants to rub salt in everyone's wounds, and that's
the next episode.
What?
So big. Spoilers.
That's not the next episode. What are you talking about?
Oh, the kiss from Kate.
Yeah, that's from like earlier in the season.
That's like 3
okay.
episodes ago.
Yeah.
4 episodes ago.
When Saeed tortures him with the bamboo.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, that's right.
He does all that just to
That was
get
like
a kiss
4
from
episodes
Kate.
ago, I think.
Yeah.
Well, he wants to bring people down. He wants people to be as angry as he is,
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. He hates
That's-
himself and
that's-
he hates the world. Yeah.
and he wants people to be. He wants people to feel the same way.
Yeah.
He doesn't
But
want to
you're
bring
right.
joy. He wants to bring hate. But you watch this episode. I mean, here's a kid who was 7 years old, I believe, at the time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his dad comes in, and his mom is saying, "Hide under the bed. Don't get any. Don't come out from under the bed." We hear the shot. His mom has been killed. The dad walks in. We're thinking, "Oh my God, he's going to kill the kid." But then he sits on he sits on Sawyer's bed
Mhm.
and shoots himself. I mean, you can see how that would affect someone down the road.
Oh yeah, because he looked as soon as he crawled out from under that bed.
Well, how could he not
Yeah,
look?
how could you not? And then of course finding your mom in the living room would be be awful. But I wanted to say but you go because I watched this episode last night and I watched Homecoming the night before. Talking about polar opposite of writing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Mhm.
And because this episode, it had been a while since I'd seen this episode, and the fact that there's so many parallels from the beginning of the episode to the end of the episode, you're just like, wow, this is awesome. Like you forget like how good it can be written.
Well, the story was far more interesting.
Yeah.
I would say one of them is a boar, and the other one features a boar.
But no, it's like the first time you hear the voices, for example, all you hear is, and then it becomes more clear.
Yeah.
The second and third time you hear it, and you hear because I have it written here somewhere. Like you hear something like, I thought he said, "Don't come back around."
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, "Don't come back around." So you're thinking, oh, it's some kind of person that's in the woods, from the others, going like, "Don't come back around here. You're too close to us," or whatever, And then, at the end, you actually know what's said. You're like, whoa, that's so awesome. Like, so I don't know.
I think it was Tom Petty that said, "Don't come around here no more."
Don't come around here no more.
So this one was written by some people up here. Drew Goddard. Drew Goddard this is the only episode that he wrote in season 1, and then he writes actually a few of these great episodes later in the series. He wrote The Glass Ballerina, which was Jin and Sun episode. He wrote The Flashes Before Your Eyes with
That is a good one.
with Desmond. The Man from Tallahassee, which is a fitting follow up.
Yeah.
And there's a whole other list of these other of the episodes he's done. His writing was awesome, and I couldn't agree more. I think this is a complete, almost like the yin to the yang of the previous episode, which is interesting. Is the last episode of the Lost Rewatch had the same scenario. I had one episode which I was like, meh, and then the next episode was, yes, that was awesome. And this is the yes, it was awesome episode for me of these two for sure.
I agree, but you brought up the whispers, Nick. But Sawyer goes to Saeed, said, "Yeah," basically asking about the whispers, and Saeed goes, "Did you hear the whispers?" And then of course Sawyer, "I don't want to talk to you about this."
Do you want to get into that, like with the whispers, though? Because there's a lot. It's one of those things that just never was really answered. And that, do you think it's the Man in Black or something about the island that's allowing your inner demons to torture you? Because obviously Saeed heard them, and then Sawyer heard them, so something is afoot here.
I thought the whispers were the people that were not allowed to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were the dead.
They were the dead. They were not allowed. Michael turned out to be a whisper.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was answered.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if that was the original plot, because I had more of a thought like you. It's like this is they're trying to keep the Losties in one area.
Mhm.
That's, bring up the whispers would, if you're walking through a jungle and you hear, it's going to freak you out.
You know what the whispers were, though? Or did you hear what they were? For Sawyer, it was Duckett. Well, not I don't want to go too far into the episode, but the whispers that he was hearing throughout the episode were it'll come back around.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Now, Jack. I mean, because I guess this is new information for me. So you're saying that the voices were people that were not allowed to move on, as in like people who died on the island who could not.
Yeah.
This was in an episode.
Was it? Okay, I must have missed it. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
So you're just trapped on the island as a whisper for eternity?
I guess. Yeah.
It's like the dead people that die there, I guess, that
I guess I get what always cracks me up, though, is I always said, Michael killed two people.
Mm-hmm.
He killed Libby and Ana Lucia.
Yeah.
How many people have Ben killed? How is Ben not a whisper?
True.
He had a chance to go, but he said, at the end, he goes, "Nah, I'm going to stay. I don't think I should go with you guys." So that's where I have a little bit of issues with the thing. I think Michael got a raw deal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But we'll get into that 5 seasons from now.
Never heard of him.
Nice inside joke there. Sawyer gets some information from the Terminator.
Oh, are we jumping into the episode already?
We've been talking about the episode the whole time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that we transitioned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. I thought for whatever reason we just started a whole new podcast, like a whole new, this is your life. Welcome to the Lost Recap.
No.
Okay. No. Anyway, Sawyer gets some information that the guy he's looking for, the real Sawyer, is in Australia. So what do you guys think about that?
Oh,
I remember because I tend to try to believe the goodness in people. I remember watching this episode going like, oh, like great. So Sawyer's going to have some closure, and then you're like, not till you later do you realize like, oh shit, he's been duped, not to spoil the episode, but
You mean all crap he's been duped?
What did I say? Did I say did I let one slip? Shoot. Okay.
Well, you're just trying to keep it as PG as I was.
Well, I forgot to mention too, the reason Sawyer runs in and here's the whispers. There's some boar in his. So this becomes a thing where he's obsessed with killing the boar.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys. Another thing I remember watching this the first time, I was thinking this boar is probably a figment of his imagination. Like, is he doing it like night terrors or something? Because no one has seen the boar at this point. Even Saeed, he says that I thought they had moved to another part of the island at this point.
Right.
So you kind of think that is this all in Sawyer's head? Him tearing up the tent, him just running out in the woods, him falling in the mud. Like, is it? And
it's not the first time that because Jack saw his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's but up till now, people have seen other things. I think Kate sees. Is this where Kate sees the horse in season 1, or is that later on?
I thought it was later on.
Okay, could be later on.
But
I forgot to mention that's an important part. The whole setup for this scene where he goes to Australia. Then Sawyer. Then Kate catches up with. Of course, she's got to be there. She catches up with Sawyer looking for the boar. She can track.
Mm-hmm.
Sawyer can't. We're happy with that. We're happy with Kate and Sawyer.
Yeah, I always like those two characters together. I've never had an issue with it, and I understand that there was a whole Jack with Kate with Sawyer triangle, and I get all of that. But still, even looking back, I always enjoy these characters together.
Yeah, exactly. I think that there's one good line in the whole. There's a couple in the I Never Seen. With Kate and Sawyer later on, where he pegs her right on it. It's like you came all the way out here or something, just because you're the one person who is as lonely as I am, or hates the world as much as I am, or whatever. Because he
fit in.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in. That's it. Thanks, Chris. Yep. It doesn't fit in with anyone else, and I think that's the duality of Kate is that she likes Sawyer because he's damaged, because she's damaged, but she also likes Jack too because Jack makes her feel safe, or at least gives her a focus and a point of where to go. You know,
Right.
and that's what makes it the duality of that really interesting.
Well, I like that this game starts out. It's fun. You know, I've never been married. I never voted. Democrat. It's going back and forth, and it's fun. And then it got personal.
Yeah,
But this game, the game they played, kind of irked me a little bit because no one doesn't know this game other than Never Have I Ever. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Not I Never.
Right.
Maybe
You're right.
maybe legally they couldn't say it. Maybe someone has copyrights.
No.
Really?
no,
I
But
don't
the
know. I'm just throwing it
But
out there.
campfires from summer camp have a free trademark on it.
I actually thought we could play Never Have I Ever version of Lost tonight, you know, except instead of drinking, we could tie in the first episode and we could all shoot heroin.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Okay, so you guys, I sent everyone a box of heroin. Okay, and we're gonna crack it open right now.
That's terrible, dude.
Yeah.
And you're the fan favorite on your podcast.
My
You're the fan
apologies
favorite?
to anybody who's listening now who has successfully kicked the habit.
All right. Oh, but alcoholics though. Anyway, I just thought it would be fun. We could all play the same game of Never Have I Ever.
Yeah, I'll probably pass on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Never tried it, and I don't want to do it. So
Okay, but
we'll do
we
it
could-
edibles.
Okay, edibles. Yeah, we'd be asleep by the end of this podcast. Never have I ever killed a man. I think we're all good there, right?
Right.
Okay. Whew.
well, do I have to answer that?
Never have I ever kissed a man. We're okay there, right, guys?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
I kissed my dad. I've kissed my dad.
There you go. See, I had thought about this. This is a
Yeah.
loophole, right? Yeah.
Who's typing?
That would be
sorry.
nice.
That was me.
Okay. Anyway, so we move on, and Locke joins Kate and Sawyer.
You guys don't like my game, do you?
No, we don't. I'm thinking about editing it, but no, I guess we'll keep
Matt,
it.
I think you're on an island with this one, actually.
Yeah. So Locke joins. It was easy to track him. He joins them.
Well, that was interesting though, because like that scene, because they hear the rustling in the bushes, and you think, is it the boar? Even though it was behind them, and you knew it wasn't going to be the boar. But Sawyer pulls out the pistol, and he could have easily just shot Locke.
Again, that's why you don't pass out guns to everybody.
Exactly, because somebody with that's how not Anna Lucia, but the other one. That's how Libby dies.
Right.
Just someone whipping around with a gun and getting shot in the gut.
Exactly. But then Locke, I guess he hears kind of the story, what's going on, and Locke tells a very cheerful story about his childhood, about how his sister was on a jungle
It was actually a
gym.
beautiful
Actually,
story.
a good story, yeah. And you wonder if it's true or not, or if it's just some kind of it's not simile. What's it called when you do that? But anyway, he's just comparing it, because he maybe somehow he has psychic emotion to relate it to Sawyer's life at the moment.
Well, remember too, because Locke is still trying to get people on his side.
Yeah.
He wants people to follow him, even though he told Jack, "You need to be the leader, but I'm gonna do everything I can to undermine you." But because there's a scene with Boone, he goes, "No, we need Saeed on our side." He's trying to get everybody, because whatever his plan and whatever he's doing, he thinks the island needs. He wants everybody to follow him, and without there being any problems. So maybe he's just telling Sawyer the story. So that Locke guy, he's been through a lot. We find out Sawyer's from Tennessee.
From Knoxville.
Yeah.
Wow.
The actor's from Georgia, though. Actually, during Lost, there was a lawn gardener with a sign out advertising his name was James Ford all the time.
Oh, really?
I just always laughed every time I saw it. I was like, "Hey, there's Sawyer."
This is in Tennessee.
In Knoxville. So it was like that's always thought it was funny. It's like, well, there's an actual guy named James Ford in Knoxville.
Wow, nice. Sawyer, this is a great scene. Of course, it builds up. We get something. A payoff is later on down the road. But Sawyer is drinking with Jack's dad at a bar.
Yeah.
I loved this flash. This is one of my favorite flashbacks because it's I can't remember. I know I'm not sure if there has been a flashback where there's been like this weird cross between backstories.
Mm-hmm. I don't know either. Yeah, go ahead.
To be fair, I've only watched 4 episodes to rewatch from the last episode I was on and these 2. But I think this is the first time that we flashback. At least it's definitely the first of the 4 that I've seen where we see a flashback that crosses paths with other characters, and you hear his voice. Granted, the last episode I watched is the one in which Jack's father was referencing how Jack stood up against his father against the board. That's the last time you heard. Now you hear Christian Shepherd's voice from across the bar. I remember, like, I kind of forgot about that, right? So when I was, oh yes, when Christian's here, this is awesome. I remember when we were watching this for the first time, we're just like, what? Sawyer knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How does this? What's he doing there? How do you wallet? Like, what Christian doing in the bar with Sawyer? Are they going to talk about it? Are they going to have a chat at the fireplace afterwards? Who knows what's going to happen? I loved this scene. And I've never once in my life, I guess it's probably but have you guys ever been at a bar where someone's like, leave the bottle? and just proceed to just get like sauced on a bottle of.
I've never had that happen.
No, that said, never have I ever.
Usually
as a
happens in
former
Westerns.
bartender, I would never allow that to happen because I would be fired.
Yeah, well, I mean, and think about like
Australia,
how much are you going to get charged for that whole bottle at a bar price? You know, like so.
That's going to be $150 to $200 for a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. So.
And Sawyer has to pay because Christian has left his wallet. He lost his wallet. So
right.
Yeah, and Chris, I'm glad that you mentioned that because when I was watching this episode, you basically put into words my exact thoughts. Like, this was one of the first times that I remember, like, holy cow, these characters are meeting in this other, like, they're the connections, and I think that.
Well, up to then we'd seen like on TV where there's a scene where like you see Hurley where someone's watching something. Hurley's on TV, Saeed's on TV. There's different scenes where we're getting this overlapping thing. But this is, I think, the first time we get direct where there's contact. And at this point Sawyer doesn't know that's Jack's dad.
Right.
It was if Jack said, well, because Christian said the Red Sox will never win the series. And up to
that's
then,
why the Sox will never win the series.
Right. And so but I do like the fact that they because we'll go to the end when we get to the end, but they didn't have a conclusion with that scene yet.
Right.
Until later on. And the payoff was excellent.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And that's what Lost did to you. It tortured you. Yeah. Like, why didn't they tell him? Maybe they'll tell him next episode. Yeah. And you're like, no.
But I mean, they let that out for a long time, and that was so worth the payoff when it did come back.
Well, because Jack's dad is telling him, my son thinks I hate him. My son thinks this. He's telling this whole thing, where Jack does think, he at this point, his dad is dead because Christian. He says, "Why don't you go?" He goes, "There's a payphone out there. I could go call him right now and tell him, hey, I love him. But I'm not going to do it because I'm a jerk. I'm a drunk."
And the best part about it is that the Red Sox actually did win the series 4 months before this aired for the first time in forever. I believe that this is the first of 2 references to the Sox winning the World Series in Lost. I recall, and I don't know what episode it was, but they are in one of Dharma facilities later on in the series.
Season 3, yeah. Isn't it when Jack's? I think Jack's shown it when he's at the.
I think Ben sit and moved to mess with Jack.
He showed, and he goes, "Sox don't win the World Series," or something like that.
Oh no, he actually shows them the game.
Oh, they actually do win. Yeah, right.
That's what it was. Yeah,
and Jack's like,
it's when they're on the second island.
Right.
Yeah, the Hydro Island. Hydro Island.
Yeah, no, and I love that came back around too. So as you mentioned there, Chris, like the fact that we get to see that. So.
And we have Sawyer. Saeed talks with Charlie. Killing someone is especially your first kill is because I think Hurley was worried about him having.
But say you left out you left out the Hurley scene. Because that's funny. That's always leaned back. I mean, Hurley just being a geek, because he talks about that. Goes, this is going to end bad for us, guy. Dude. Because like I know how this ends. Like it ends with us running through the woods, being chased in tears. Because he already said Ethan was going to come back from the dead. Right. Yeah, exactly. And then he's concerned for Charlie because he is his friend. And
And in a heavy episode, Hurley always with the comedic relief that just kind of lets you okay, yeah. Like, this is fun. I'm along for the ride. So, and just seeing that camaraderie of Charlie and Hurley growing, that concern.
So power of being in the future and being able to look back at this, I did a quick on it in episode 5, White Rabbit.
White Rabbit,
season
yes.
1. Jack finds his dad's in the hotel room.
About this what? Oh, he's right. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anywho.
Then Sawyer goes to kill the guy. He thinks it's the real Sawyer. Shoots him and realizes the guy, it wasn't the real Sawyer. He was set up.
And I know
he went to his little station and he was going to eat the food.
Right.
Yeah. He was just like, he looked at the menu and he's like, forget it. I'll kill you later.
Well, I know it's just a bit part, but even the actor who is this guy did a great job. Because like in the first time you see him, when he's ordering the shrimp, like Matt just said, he kind of plays it a little bit as a jerk. Because, the way he looks at Sawyer, he's like, come on, man. Like, what do you want? Like, like he's not making eye contact with him or anything. He's just like, let's go. So you automatically like in your mind, you're thinking, yeah, this guy's probably a jerk.
Well, also they have the conversation where they're talking and he says, you ever been to the South? He goes, oh yeah, I love the southern women down there.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Right. Yeah. And then even the guy who gave him, I mean, there's a lot of like minor actors in this episode that do their job, even though like the guy that gives Sawyer the gun, he kind of gives him a lecture for no reason, which is kind of weird. He's like, dude, I just want my gun. I just want to go. But he does. He gives him this, this whole like, when you point a gun at a man and you actually take a life, it's going to haunt you or whatever. Like, you find out who you really are. That's what he says. And that's like, wow, that's really
unnecessary, really. If you ask me.
It really is.
It tied in directly to the prior episode.
Right.
And in what was going to happen, and what's the crazy thing is here is that, as Matt mentioned, he doesn't do it, right? He stops.
Right.
But it's Christian that inspires him to go back.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And actually pull the trigger.
Right.
He's an enabler.
Yeah. And going back to what I was saying is, again, with that same actor, though, like you immediately, as soon as he shoots him, you feel sorry for him because just that gasping of like, I was going to pay. I was going to pay. Like, and you're just like, oh, crap. And then
just got played.
The slow, reveal of Sawyer didn't know anything. He didn't, he was conned into doing this. And you're just like,
he was conned. He's the one who always pulls the cons, but he was conned.
Right.
So, and that actor, before I forget, was in Grey's Anatomy and also starred in Scandal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's right.
Now, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. Did Sawyer ever get back? I guess he doesn't. Like to Hibbs, because you want Hibbs to get some kind of justice for setting him up. But yeah, I guess he doesn't because
he gets on the plane.
This is it. He gets on the plane.
So he's forced to be tortured by having to not be able to read his letter. Like he started reading it. Mm-hmm. That was the letter he's been carrying around for 30, or 25 years, however long it was in between his childhood.
And that letter, considering how hard it was, that letter is in pretty good shape considering how hard it was raining.
True.
That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, dude, that's gonna ruined. Let's face it. He probably done with a pencil or a crayon.
It was typed.
Did anybody else get the Star Wars aspect that like Sawyer's now a bounty hunter that works for Jabba and is like killing like one of the Stooges. It's basically like a Greedo or something.
I think we should do like a Lost Rewatch Onan Baru crossover event at some point. Yeah.
Never have I ever. Bruce, everybody take a drink.
I gotta be honest with you. Of all the podcasts on that network, that's my least favorite of Bruce.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know why. I
Fair enough.
Kind of find it boring, but that's. Are you guys in it?
Apparently, some of us are.
A couple of us are.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting in an episode called Outlaws that we learned that Sawyer is actually somewhat of a bounty hunter for Hibbs,
Yeah, that's a good point.
We also forgot to mention during the Never Have I Ever game that we learned a really interesting point, is that both Kate and Sawyer are murderers.
Yes.
I thought that was a nice little way to both of them play their hand a little bit.
That have never gone to college.
Yeah.
Is there a correlation there?
Wait, what was the college thing for? Like,
I guess
it's because that's what he says. Like, I know you've never been to college because you would know that the game is called I Never. And then Chris comes in and goes, it's actually called Never Have I Ever. Thank you.
No. You bunch of jerks.
And you don't need to go to college to learn that game. It's just
we have Sawyer picks up a little piglet.
Yeah.
Piglet, and it was a real piglet, wasn't it?
It had to be. Yeah.
That was real.
Yeah. And Kate's like, stop it, Sawyer. Stop it. You're being mean to him. Well, you can find your own way back.
Didn't Kate eat that pig's family prior week? Weren't they she got real high and mighty right there.
Yeah.
But it turns out in the end, Sawyer cannot kill the boar. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he, maybe him just pointing the gun at the boar, because Kate had already made a lot of good points to him, saying you never, when they're playing the game, never have I ever, never used my own personal stuff and blamed the boar for it, and he drinks because he realizes that as well, is that the boar is a scapegoat for his own problems. But him pointing the gun at a helpless animal probably brought flashbacks of him actually murdering the guy as well.
Yeah. I to believe that the never have I killed somebody is that dude the only person that Sawyer has killed, right?
Yeah, I think it was his first murder.
I think it was. So it's a complete correlation between it's him going. He did or did not.
He didn't.
He shot him.
Right.
Jack ended up killing him.
So the way that story, that backstory kind of lined up, the pig was the shrimp guy, right? So he I keep forgetting his name. He's having that realization of oh man, I went after this guy. He had all this kind of the story of going across the world to go hunt this guy down, parallels to him going across the island to hunt down this boar, and he gets and confronts this boar, and he's flashing back to thinking about the shrimp guy, and he's the mistake that he made, and then he kind of makes that realization right there live and saying, you know what, he's just a boar.
Yeah,
but he still doesn't give up his hate, though. He still has that anger inside of him.
Yeah, because he hasn't read his letter.
Yeah.
The guy's name was Frank Duckett, also known as Porky. Yeah, also known as Porky. No, it's not.
IMDb, that's all, folks.
Actually, on IMDb, it lists his character name as Frank Sawyer Duckett. So
that's kind of false advertisement.
Well, not to get spoiled on IMDb, right? If you're watching this episode for the first time, you wouldn't get really spoiled. You'd be like, oh, he's going to meet Sawyer. I don't know. Whatever.
And then we have Charlie and Claire go for a nice little walk. And then we have that great scene with Sawyer and Jack where Sawyer comes up and goes, put him up, Doc. So he points the gun at Jack. Are you trying to be funny?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just one of those moments where exactly you want Sawyer so badly to tell him, but you wonder if how Jack would have responded if he would have, because at this point, most people still hate Sawyer.
Yeah.
And you wonder if Sawyer's thinking probably that same thing, like Doc wouldn't believe me anyway.
Because at this point,
that bit. I say there's also the bit about Sawyer that he always likes to have on somebody, right? Like, so he go one up on Jack potentially down the road.
Well, at this point, I was going to say we're not ready as the viewer. We understand what Sawyer. We understand Sawyer now. People on the island, well, Kate does a little bit, but we don't understand what he's been through. We understand what he's been through. They don't understand what he's been through. I don't think the writers are ready for us to like Sawyer yet.
But I mean, I think Chris, you bring up a great point though about that he's the kind of guy that wants to always have just a little bit of information. He doesn't know how he's going to use it.
Right.
He could use it to hurt Jack in the most vulnerable way.
Yep.
Or he could use it to gain something in the future. So, or as we learn, he uses it to be very earnest and sweet. So,
because then Jack says, he goes, that's why the Sox number in the series. And Sawyer goes, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He goes, you just want to talk about my dad? What about him? He goes, nothing.
Yeah.
He turns around and walks away. I was like going, oh, man. Like I said, you wanted him to tell, but the payoff is so much better down the road. I mean, I probably said, no, let's do it now. Let's do it now. But the payoff, like I said, whenever, I can't remember what he tells him, but it's so much better the way they did it as opposed to the way I would have done it.
Well, and to juxtapose this episode with the previous one, which as Chris pointed out, Lindelof hated the writing on the previous one and was really critical of it. This one shows how smart they are, laying something like that out. And okay, for all those Lost fans that criticize, like, well, you never answered this or you never did this, it's like they were setting up dominoes all along. And when they were ready to trip them, they did it.
Right.
And they did it in smart ways. I think a lesser show would have been like, well, we got to get to this point, so we should probably just wrap this up,
right.
Because cue the Grey's Anatomy music. So no offense, Grey's Anatomy watchers, but sometimes it's a little,
I'm amazed that show's still on.
Right.
My wife loves it. I say it all the time. I go, how do you watch this crap? Mm-hmm. But if you're a Grey's Anatomy fan, we're not here to.
Hey, I actually watched the first 3 seasons with my wife. I enjoyed it, but some of the writing and the actors kind of went to the wayside, and it really kind of lost its steam. But we're not here to talk about that. I just wanted to say, like, at least how smart those writers were in the fact that they didn't pull it that quick. They did kind of leave it like a domino. So,
well, the next 2 episodes are Numbers and I forgot. I talked about it last night, but Numbers is one of those things where the numbers,
right,
were just I think put in there just drive us crazy.
Well, like I said, that was the first episode I ever watched was the Numbers, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Because then you start realizing, oh, the numbers, and then because I've been doing the rewatch, and you go, oh yeah, the numbers are knowing what you know now. Oh, when they say, there's 4 deaths here, there's 4 guns, there's everything. The numbers, we don't realize that until the 18th episode when the episode happens. But they've been talking about those numbers from day one. So anyway, that's all I got. Anything else you guys want to add on these episodes?
No,
it's great. Really enjoyed doing this. Thanks for inviting me along, Jack. So
no, I'm happy to have you guys. Like I said, where can people find your podcast again?
Well, the Jay and Jack Network for one, but going on to iTunes and just typing in RCAD. It's as simple as that. You could follow us on Twitter. Apparently, somebody tweets out about us, and there's also an Instagram account, RCAD Cast. You can send us email at rcadcast@gmail.com. You can write in and tell me how wrong I was with my Never Have I Ever game, inspired by these. I thought I was on point, like bringing the 2 episodes together in a fun way. So
yeah, it was fun.
And heroin. Anyway, yeah, you guys want to say anything? Before Jack cuts me off, though, I just want to say, great show, guys. This was 1 in a million.
I love when you say that on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I love when you say that.
Well done, man. Well, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
I forgot to say this at the beginning. This is going to be the last show that airs that I put out on Thursdays. It's going to be moved. The following is going to be moved to Monday. So the next one, numbers and whatever the other episode, I'm drawing a blank on it, will be released on Monday, October 17th. So this is the last one. This will be released in 2 days from now. But after that, all the other shows will be on Monday.
So what you're saying, Jack, is that the mold.
With the what?
We broke the mold.
The mold, yes. So I think it was a heroin game. That could have been it. So, and if you haven't listened to the RCAD, you have to know that Matt's just joking.
Completely, yes. I thought like totally 100%.
Well, I'm just people haven't listened to the podcast. They wouldn't know that you're kind of a jokester.
Sometimes.
Well, I appreciate you guys joining me on this journey. And Chris, this is your second time on here. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And
I appreciate being here.
Yes. So that's all I got.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Do you have a saying? Do you have a thing you say, Nick, when you sign off?
I just say see you.
See you. Okay. All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to subscribe, like us, and all the other fun stuff that I always forget to say. Bye, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Lost Rewatch. Before we get into the next 2 episodes, I'd like to ask you guys for a quick favor. If you do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. That helps. It pushes the videos up. You can subscribe. Subscribe right now. That always helps. Also, tell your fellow Losties that, hey, we're doing a rewatch over here at Crazy Hank TV. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks.